first grade, let's read our harmony story for the day. But before we get started, let's think about a couple of things. Has anyone ever surprised you by doing something unexpected or doing something differently than they usually do? Sometimes it can be easy to think that people act, feel, or think in certain ways all the time because that is just the way they are. But it is important to remember that everyone can change in many ways. In this story, a child thinks that he is not very good at something and that he will never be able to do it well. With the help of a friend, he discovers that it is possible for people to learn new things and grow and change. As you listen to this story, pay attention to times when the characters change by learning something new or doing something differently than usual. So let's read our story, The Celebration of Authors. Oh man, groaned Jordan as he folded up the paper and stuffed it into his backpack. It was a flyer for the upcoming Celebration of Authors, and he was not looking forward to it at all. For the next few days, all the kids at Harmony Street School were going to be writing their own short stories and poems. Then, at the Celebration of Authors, they would sit in groups with kids from different grades and share what they wrote. Jordan was dreading it. Guess what, Jordan? Exclaimed Annie when she saw him later in the cafeteria. I already have an idea for my story. I'm going to write about how I lost my tooth in a marshmallow. It's going to be so funny. Cool, mumbled Jordan. I'm going to write a story called The Worst Story Ever. Annie looked confused. What will that be about? She asked. I don't know yet, replied Jordan, but I'm sure it's going to be the worst thing ever written. Just then, a loud voice behind them said, You can't sit here. This is the fifth grade table. Annie and Jordan turned around and saw a big kid wearing a red hat, and he didn't look very happy. This particular kid wore a red hat almost every day, and he almost never looked happy. They quickly moved over to the next set of tables. Boy, he's a real grump, whispered Jordan. You don't seem very excited about the Celebration of Authors, Annie said as they sat down. Jordan sighed. I'm just not a good writer, he said. I can't ever think of what to write, and it's just too hard. I'm never going to be able to do this. Oh, I'm sorry, Jordan, Annie said kindly. It sounds like you're really worried. The two friends ate their lunch quietly for a few minutes. Suddenly, Annie remembered something. Hey, Jordan, didn't you write a really cute poem in your sister's birthday card last year? Jordan nodded. Well, then you must not be bad at writing. Maybe you just need to try something different, like a poem. I don't know, said Jordan. That was hard to write too. I think I just stink at writing. Well, just because something is hard doesn't mean that you can't do it, said Annie. It's hard for me to talk in front of the class, but I keep practicing and it gets a little easier every time. Maybe you just need to try it again. I can even help you if you want. Okay, I guess I can try, agreed Jordan. For the rest of the week, Jordan worked really hard on his writing project. He wrote a few different poems that he didn't think were very good, and then he finally thought of an idea that really worked. Annie helped him a lot by listening to his ideas and reading the poems he wrote. I love it, she exclaimed when she read his final poem. You really worked hard at this, Jordan. It was finally the day of the Celebration of Authors, and kids were gathering in the schoolyard in their assigned groups. Jordan and Annie were very excited to be able to share what they had been working on all week. Hey, said Jordan, I thought you didn't like talking in front of people. Are you nervous about reading your story? Oh, I don't get nervous all the time, Annie replied. There aren't that many kids in our group, so this will be fun. Just then, they saw the kid in the red hat walking towards them. "Oh no," whispered Jordan. "That kid isn't very nice. I hope he's not in our group." The kid in the red hat plopped down onto the ground next to them. "Hey there," he said, and then smiled. Annie and Jordan looked at each other and were very surprised. For the next half hour, they heard a lot of great stories and poems from the kids in their group. Annie read the story she had written about her tooth and the marshmallow, and everyone laughed a lot. "The same thing happened to my brother one time," said the kid in the red hat. "That was a great story." Finally, it was Jordan's turn. The celebration of authors had sure turned out differently than what he had expected. He took a deep breath and read his poem out loud. "I didn't want to write this. I thought I couldn't do it. But I worked really hard, and a friend helped me through it. I learned to write a poem. It just took some work and time. When I really tried my best, I wrote a pretty good rhyme. It's great to be able to learn. It's cool to change and grow. That means there's a lot of new things that I'll be able to do and know." I loved his story, and I loved this story about the celebration of authors. It really reminds us that we can do anything we put our mind to. Just because it's hard at first doesn't mean that we should give up. Keep working hard, silly superstars. I'll see you later.